In deep appreciation, we will now begin this transmission with what we have titled the formula. Many of you have heard us talk about how important it is, how crucial it is to act on your highest passion, follow your highest excitement. And we have delved into, from many different directions, why this is crucial in life. Because excitement is the vibration, your physical translation of the vibration of your true self, your true frequency. It is also your physical body's translation of communication from the higher mind. That's how it translates. When the higher mind is communicating with you, it translates as that sensation you call excitement, creativity, love, passion, joy. But the idea is that we have perceived that sometimes there can be some misunderstandings, a little bit of lack of clarity about the specifics of following the formula, the three-part formula that we have often delivered. The three-part formula being that you act on your highest passion every moment that you can, to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, with absolutely zero insistence or assumption as to what the outcome ought to be, how you need to get where you're going, or any such specific idea being held on to. This three-part formula, as we have said, will activate the kit of excitement, the complete kit that contains all the tools necessary. But in these three parts, we have discovered that sometimes there perhaps are different interpretations about what those different parts actually represent or refer to. So today, we would like to dig a little deeper, delve a little deeper, and explain, based on what you have before you as your handout, some more specific ideas about what each segment actually refers to. This may not even necessarily be everything, every specific detail, but it will be a good start to help clarify the concept a little bit more. So, Nania, do you have your handout? Come up and read, if you will be willing to assist. All right. All right, so under the first part of the formula, to act on your passion, what is the first subheading? Everyone can follow along.
You're talking about number 1, right?
Yes.
Okay. Take action on the opportunity that contains the highest excitement.
Yes, that's the principle itself. What is the first subheading?
The highest excitement doesn't have to come in the form of a project or a career.
Yes. This is very important to understand because very often people will say, well, I don't know what my excitement is. And often they are thinking that it has to come in a specific recognizable form, some kind of a life-spanning career or long-term project, or come with trumpets blowing. No. When we talk about the idea of acting on your excitement, your highest excitement, we mean it can be as simple as every moment of every day you have a number of options available to you that you are able to take some action on. Very basic, very simple. It can be reading a book, having lunch with a friend, talking to someone, taking a walk on the beach. Whatever option contains even just a little bit more excitement than any other option at that level, that's the one to act on first. Because the more excitement it contains than any other is telling you, through the synchronicity tool of excitement, that this is the order in which to act on these options. The one that contains the most excitement, that has the greatest ability to be acted upon, is the first one to act on. And it can be step by step, very simple. When you do that, it may lead to larger and larger and larger representations of excitement coming in different forms that will be more apparent, more obvious to you. But really all we mean is you can take it a step at a time on every level, even the most basic level, and just at every moment act on the one that contains the most excitement, more than any other excitement you have the greatest ability to do something about. That's really all it means, step by step, and it will lead to other representations and other experiences and other opportunities that will allow you to express your excitement in grander ways. And the next subheading
is as long as an option contains even a little more excitement than any other option, act on it first.
That's as we just said. Again, this is easy to do. We will assume, we may be wrong, but we will assume that you're all here today because this is what it excited you to do. But when you leave this transmission, this interaction today, again, you will have a number of options available to you. The only thing you need to do to activate this principle is just look at all the options and just choose to act on the one that contains more excitement than any other, even if it's only just a little bit more. That will be your clue and your indication that that comes first. Because again, one of the tools, as we will point out again later, is that excitement carries the organizing principle through synchronicity. And it will show you exactly in what order things need to be done, when they need to be done, and thus anything that doesn't fit in that day when you're done doesn't need to be done that day. It truly organizes your life automatically. The next subheading.
Excitement is your body's physical translation of a communication from your higher mind.
People on your planet ask all the time, how can I get a sign from my higher mind? How can I learn to communicate with my higher mind? How can I learn to recognize communication from it? I don't know, it must be difficult. Not at all. The things that excite you the most is actually your translation of that communication. So, when you're willing to act on the thing that contains the highest excitement, that is actually you paying attention to the message from your higher mind that's guiding you from a higher position, a broader point of view, saying, do this now, do this next, do this next. This is the order that works best for you. And when you act on that excitement to the best of your ability, with zero insistence on the outcome, that is actually your response to the higher mind. That's going, I hear you loud and clear. And so I will act on that, knowing that you are guiding me. And when you then respond to the higher mind through that action, because you are physical, so action must be taken to demonstrate your commitment to receive that communication from the higher mind. When you do that, then the higher mind knows you're listening, knows you're paying attention, and it can start giving you more things to act on that contain more excitement. But if you're not paying attention, if you're not acting on the excitement that it presents to you, that it communicates to you, why should it give you more? It would be pointless. So the higher mind will always wait for you to demonstrate that you've heard the higher mind through the translation of excitement, and that you are willing to respond to the higher mind through your actions. And then you start that dialogue going, and you start the ball rolling, and you start the momentum, and it will accelerate and accelerate and expand from there. And next,
check your beliefs to make sure you aren't making anxiety appear to be excitement.
This is crucial because many people will be afraid to face their fears because of negative belief systems within themselves about what it is they think they will encounter if they go exploring those things. And so many times they will gloss those anxieties, those fear-based beliefs over. They will ignore them. They will deny that they're there. They will not want to explore them, not want to admit that they're there. And so even though they may actually be feeling anxious, they may attempt to avoid looking at it or investigating it by making it appear or labeling it as my excitement. You have to be very clear in discerning within yourself what is truly excitement-based and what may be anxiety or fear-based. This is absolutely crucial, as is its reciprocal,
which is check your beliefs to make sure you aren't making excitement appear to be anxiety through fear-based definitions.
Yes. Many people on your planet will not be willing to act on their excitement because of fear-based definitions of what they think will happen if they do, something bad will happen, or this will happen, or I'll lose this, or people will laugh at me, or judge me, or I won't belong, and everyone will walk away from me, and many other different kinds of fear-based beliefs if you are actually acting on your excitement. But the idea then is to, again, in the reverse, make sure that you are not dampening down your excitement, the things that could actually be what will give you the best possible life, just because you have a definition that isn't actually a definition of excitement. This is the irony, this is the paradox, is many people say, well, yes, I would love to act on my highest excitement, but if I do, I'm afraid that something bad will happen. That's not a definition of excitement. It's a different definition. You have to understand that in the purest form, excitement, by definition, cannot contain anything that would actually create a negative experience. So if you're making an association of a negative potential experience to the idea of excitement, then the definition you have created is actually not a real definition of excitement. It's a different kind of definition based on that fear-based belief. So be clear within yourself that you are not damping down your excitement by having an erroneous definition of it, by attaching negative definitions to it that don't belong there. Does this make sense to you? I'm sorry? Yes. Thank you. And so, the next principle.
All right, the next, number 2,
Yes.
is act on that excitement to the best of your ability.
All right, now, as you can see in this diagram, there is a lot of clarification in this particular section, because there are many different interpretations on your planet from different people about what acting on it to the best of your ability actually means. What is the first subheading?
Well, the first subheading is use all your skills, talents, imagination, and abilities in taking action.
Yes. Basically, this translates to the idea that if you actually are passionate about something, really, truly, you will use everything you've got. You will stop at nothing to allow yourself to express, to act on, to mimic, to mock up, to model, to mirror. Every skill will be brought to the forefront. Every ability that you have will be sought out and utilized and applied in your life to match the frequency of the passion you say that you are passionate about. So allow yourself to go forward full steam ahead when you know you are clearly acting on your excitement. Don't hold back. Otherwise, again, you're not really committing. You're not really demonstrating to the higher mind that it's a full commitment, that you actually believe that this frequency is representative of your passion, or this opportunity, or this doorway. Use every skill you have as best as you possibly can, and it will accelerate you greatly. And next.
Okay. Act to the fullest degree you are able to act.
Again, this is a reinforcement of understanding that you must go all the way to the degree you are truly able to act on it. Not only bringing all the skills, but taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. Exhaust every possible avenue. Take it all the way out. Again, if you are truly, truly passionate about something, you will stop at nothing. It will be your driving force. You will look for every nook and cranny, every doorway, every window, every path you possibly can to take it as far as you possibly can until your reality through synchronicity shows you there is simply nothing else that you can possibly do. And next.
If more than one opportunity has equal ability to be acted upon, choose either, and it will show you whether or not to continue down that path.
Again, through synchronicity, the idea is that if it seems to be that there are equal opportunities with equal abilities and equal excitement, it really won't matter which one you choose first. You might as well just flip a coin. Because if it is not the path of least resistance for you, it will be self-contained within the toolkit of excitement, and something will happen synchronistically to demonstrate to you that that wasn't necessarily the choice that serves you best. That ability, that reflectivity is built into, automatically built into every single opportunity that you act on if it is being acted on to the best of your ability from your highest excitement. And using the coin analogy, We are serious about that because sometimes the idea is you don't really know which one might be representative of your highest excitement sometimes until you actually flip the coin. You may think they're equal, but sometimes when you flip a coin and say, all right, if it's heads, I'll take path A. If it's tails, I'll take path B. And you flip it and it comes up tails and you go, oh, path B, oh darn, I really wanted path A. You will reveal to yourself in that coin flip what really contains more excitement. But if after even the flipping of the coin they still seem equal, then again, it doesn't really matter which path you take, for if it is not the path of least resistance, if it is not the path that serves you best at that moment, it will contain what it needs to contain to reflect to you that you need to choose the other path, because this is an automatic guidance system. It is an automatic, self-perpetuating, self-guiding system, self-correcting system. It contains everything that you need. So you can utilize it that way as well. And next.
Keep acting on it until you have no more ability to act.
Again, take it as far as you can until you can take it no further. And again, be clear about the idea of what it means to have an ability to act on something. And this is where we get into some of the other definitions in this segment, is there are many different interpretations on your planet in people's minds about what it means to have the ability to act on something. So let's continue with the clarification.
When you can act no further, choose the next most exciting thing you are able to take action on.
Again, you will come to crossroads in acting on your excitement when it seems the excitement is exhausted, when it seems there is nothing else you can do, you've taken it as far as you can. Then again, when you come to those crossroads, you just repeat the process. You look around for the options that are available to you at that moment on any level, and you simply act on the one that contains more excitement than any other. And you keep repeating that process over and over and over and over and over and over again. And if you always do that, then your life will always be as exciting as it possibly can be at that moment, because you're always choosing the thing that contains more excitement than anything else. And you just keep on doing that. And why? Because you have given yourself no other choice, no reason to choose anything else. That's why. And that's as simple as it needs to be. And
recognize the signs, reflections, and agreements that indicate an inability to take action.
again, this comes back down to the definitions of what ability means. Now, each and every one of you has different abilities. Each and every one of you has a different relationship with the collective. Each and every one of you may have different ways of doing things, and so what works for you may not work for someone else, and vice versa. So you have to really be aware of what your abilities are and what the synchronicity of your reality shows you you are able to actually do and not do. And
physical parameters, laws of society, moral values, and ethical standards can all indicate whether or not you have the ability to take action.
this is the biggest one that needs the most clarification on your planet. Now, some of them are relatively obvious. Physical parameters. If you are literally, physically unable to take action on something for whatever reason, then that means you are unable to take action on it, and that is as good as a crossroads. It's as good as an arrow pointing in another direction saying, this direction that you are unable to act on is not the path of least resistance. So please don't stand there banging your head against a brick wall. Turn left, turn right, go around, do something else. Choose another thing that excites you. The things that may look like obstacles physically are not obstacles. They're road signs guiding you that you need to turn left, you need to turn right, you need to turn around, here and now. And that actually will be the path of least resistance. Please remember that even though the path may seem to be winding and longer than another path you could take, if it is actually the path of least resistance, it will actually be the fastest path. Because even though another path may look shorter, if it's not the path of least resistance, it will take you longer to walk it. So Don't be afraid of the winding path. If it's your true path, it will actually allow you to go with the flow much more easily. Now, the idea again of what your society in general has agreed are different kinds of ethical and moral parameters are important for you to pay attention to because you agreed to be part of this society. We understand that many times people on your planet don't necessarily agree or see the same things in the same way, morally or ethically or even legally. But the idea is to understand that if you are part of a society that in general has agreed that these things are in place for the general benefit of that society, then you have to be very, very, very clear about why you might think it's important to go against the grain of that moral imperative, that ethical structure, or those legal standards called laws. Because if you go against them just because you can't see any other way, then you're just not being creative or imaginative enough. The idea to understand is that you are part of that society and you agreed to be. If you do not approve of certain laws or ethical standards, then you have every right to change them in whatever way works within your society to do so. But just violating them is not the way to do it, and the idea that the law or ethical standard exists is a sign and an indication that you don't have the ability to go in that direction. You need to see it as clearly as you would see a brick wall, again, simply being an arrow pointing in an unexpected direction that is actually representative of the path of least resistance. Let us add another example to this that we have become aware of, because this particular idea has been bandied about in your society now for quite a while, and specifically we will use the example of what is called copyright law, since this seems to be a hotbed topic in your society. The idea that we have talked about that you call pirating material that doesn't belong to you is a perfect illustration of what we are saying here. There have been some individuals in your society that have come back with what you might loosely call a rebuttal to this concept of obeying the copyright laws by saying, but there have been all sorts of laws in society that we really shouldn't have followed. For example, at one point, slavery was legal. Should we follow those laws? This is really not a correct argument and is really very surface-oriented and actually misses the point. The difference between that scenario and what you are calling the copyright laws is not apples and oranges, it is apples and broccoli. It is two completely different concepts. The idea, first and foremost, and the basic understanding here is that, yes, we understand that there can be what you would call unjust laws in your society, and that there may be people who resist those and go against them and fight to change them in a variety of ways. And sometimes civil disobedience is one of those ways that you have available to you. But the real misunderstanding in that so-called argument, which is not really an argument at all, is the difference between the two ideas. Because what you would call slavery is designed to take people's rights away. Copyright law is designed to protect people's rights. That's the difference. And so such an argument simply means the person hasn't really thought it through. It is just what you would call a knee-jerk reaction to something they want to do, and they're simply creating an excuse in their minds or a reason to break laws that actually benefit your society and are actually just laws. So be very, very clear about the idea when you bring up arguments like that and reasons like that within your own mind as to whether they actually are relevant or not, or whether you're actually missing the point on a very basic level. And the next principle.
Okay, so now we're actually on principle number 3 of the formula, which is act on that excitement with absolutely zero insistence or assumption with respect to a specific outcome.
And the first sub-principle is?
Understand that insistence on a specific outcome, manifestation, or path may actually prevent a better manifestation than you imagined.
The idea of insistence on a particular outcome may seem to be a focus on something that is the best thing you can possibly imagine, but in fact, it's actually a limitation. We have used, to illustrate this point quite often, the idea of visualization. Nothing wrong with visualization at all. Absolutely, it's a tool and a technique that you can use to imagine, to envision an ideal reality that you would absolutely love to experience, that you're excited about experiencing. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing contrary to your true vibration. But here's the rub, here's the difference, as you say. When you imagine, when you picture, when you visualize that so-called ideal outcome, that ideal reality, and you see yourself in that picture, in that visualization, you get excited about what you're seeing, don't you? Hello? Yes. All right. That's why you're visualizing it. You're pumping up your vibration, you're pumping up your excitement, you're getting excited about the idea, the possibility that this could actually manifest. And oh boy, wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be just delicious? Wouldn't that be the best possible thing that could happen in my life? Well, maybe not. The idea is that maybe something even better than you were capable of imagining could happen. So if you insist on the picture that your physical mind created, how do you know you're not limiting yourself from something even better? Your higher mind may know of something even grander than your physical mind is capable of imagining, because your physical mind is not designed to know how something actually needs to happen. Your physical mind is only designed to know what's happening, to experience what's going on right now, what manifests right now. Only your higher mind knows what the true path is for you and tells you this, informs the physical mind through excitement so that the physical mind can know it too. But the physical mind doesn't have the capacity, it's not designed to know how exactly something really needs to unfold, but the higher mind knows this. So when you amp yourself up, when you get yourself really excited by having that particular visualization that your physical mind was capable of conjuring, and you feel at the peak of excitement, drop the picture utterly. Zero insistence, zero assumption that it has to look like that, has to happen that way, you have to get there that way, or that anything specific about it really needs to come to fruition. Drop it utterly, but keep the vibration, the state of being of excitement. Then you are the driving engine itself, that you have now made room for the manifestation that the higher mind can bring to you, that is actually representative of that state of excitement, which may be far grander than your physical mind was capable of visualizing. So when you understand that insistence on a particular outcome is actually a limitation, you will drop it, as you say, like a hot potato. Or perhaps some of you will drop it like a hot potato. And the next?
The thing itself that excites you may not need to come to fruition. It may only excite you to get you to take action in order to create the state of being in which that thing actually needs to manifest.
So again, yes, the idea is that when you drop the insistence, when you drop the assumption in that context, you will start to realize that sometimes things will excite you, but not for the reason you think. If you are holding on to certain beliefs that may make you resistant to moving in a certain direction, a direction you may really need to go in, something may crop up synchronistically in your life that will get you to move in that direction because it looks so exciting you just can't resist it. But never assume that the thing that excites you and gets you to move is the thing that actually has to manifest, because its job may only be to get you off your butt. And that may be it. And once you are moving, and once you are acting on your excitement, and once you're in that state of being, then the thing that really needs to be acted on and may really need to manifest can crop up as an opportunity and a circumstance before you. But never assume that what crops up actually has to be it. It may only be the thing that ignited you to start moving so you would have the momentum to take advantage of what really needs to manifest in your life.
Okay, well, acting on this three-part formula with integrity aligns you with the complete toolkit of excitement that...
When we say it's complete, we mean it's complete. If you need a refresher course on what that word means, please consult your local dictionary. Complete means it leaves nothing relevant out. That's the final piece of the toolkit. But first and foremost, and again, please remember, the toolkit is automatic, self-guiding, self-perpetuating. It works flawlessly all the time. And it becomes, when you activate this three-part formula of acting on your highest excitement every moment that you can to the best that you are able, with zero insistence on the outcome or how you get there, the methodology or anything like that, then you activate the kit to work for you in a positive way, and the kit becomes the driving engine. That's the first tool that moves you through life, accelerates you. It becomes the organizing principle in your life. Again, as we mentioned, through synchronicity, showing you exactly what needs to be done in what order and when, and whatever doesn't get done by the end of the day when you are excited about being tired and going to sleep, which is also an excitement, then it didn't need to be done that day. Because again, it's the organizing principle, and it knows exactly how to fill your day perfectly. And again, please remember that when we talk about acting on your excitement, we don't mean, as we have said very often, that you have to be jumping up and down with your hair on fire. Excitement can be a sense of balanced peace. It can be a very relaxed meditative state expressing your excitement. You don't have to be running around the room, bouncing off the walls to say, I'm excited. Look at me, I'm excited. And so, not only is it the driving engine and the organizing principle, but it is also the path of least resistance. It is also that which connects you to all other expressions of excitement. Even if on the surface they look unconnected, it's the excitement that tells you that they are. It is also what gives you support in life, in all the ways you need it, in all the forms it needs to come. Whatever form of abundance that may be will be the form that needs to be there. So again, drop the insistence on what form in which abundance may need to come. Because again, you don't know what form actually may serve you best. If it's money, which we understand you have on your planet, then that's the form it'll come in. But if that's not the path of least resistance, another form of abundance may need to crop up, such as simply being gifted something. That's a form of abundance. But you must trust the synchronicity and the way your life unfolds in order to be open to all forms of abundance and not be insistent that it must come in a certain form, which again, paradoxically, closes the doors to which all other forms of abundance may actually reach you through. It also contains the reflective mirror, this kit, that reveals to you, as you're acting on your excitement, as you're moving forward, it reveals to you, in no uncertain terms, by bringing them up to your attention, anything that may be in your subconscious or unconscious mind that is out of alignment with your true vibration. Any negative fear-based beliefs that are out of alignment, it will bring them to your attention. So when you're acting on your excitement and suddenly one of these fear-based beliefs comes up, don't label that as something having gone wrong. That's exactly what needs to happen, because you need to be aware of these things. You need to identify these negative beliefs consciously in order to see that they don't belong to you, in order to see that they make no sense, in order to see that that's not what you prefer, in order to consciously realize that's not what you prefer to choose. And once you let that go, then you will add its energy to your excitement and you will continue to expand from there. And once again, this being a complete kit, it leaves absolutely nothing relevant out of your life. That's what we mean by complete. It will contain everything you need in perfect place, in perfect timing. You will find yourself synchronistically where you need to be, when you need to be there, with whom you need to be, doing what you need to be doing. All these things are automatic, and if you're willing to go with the flow, you will start experiencing this synchronicity in that way more and more and more and more. Life will become more ecstatic. It will become more effortless. It will become more joyful. It will become more creative. It will become more loving. It will become more aware of who and what you are. Know thyself. This all boils down to that. Know thyself. The ultimate formula. Be aware of your definitions. Be aware of what you're choosing. Be aware of what story you're telling yourself and living out. And choose the ones that you prefer instead. Again, this may not necessarily contain every single detail, but for now it is sufficient. And if you are willing to follow these guidelines and allow yourself to learn very effectively and make them your own, these principles and sub-principles, and remind yourself, if you find yourself slipping a little bit, go back to the sheet, remind yourself of the details here, of the precise definitions here, and then just move forward. Does this sound like fun? Yes. All right.